good statement-making game if the Browns can find a way to win at home tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe week 2 of the Greg Williams interim era is better than week 1. I know there's a lot of turmoil leading up to their game last week after the firing of Hugh Jackson. Maybe players have come to grips with that. Greg Williams and his staff has come to grips with that. We'll see. I think you pointed out, though, Matt Ryan is very hot. The Falcons need every win they can get at this point to get into the postseason. This is a bigger game, obviously, for them than it is the Browns. And I think the Falcons will win this game. But when you play a team like the Browns with all that young talent, you just don't know when they're going to put it all together leading into a game or even during a game. But I think they need to do things with Baker Mayfield a little differently. They need to get him a little more comfortable, a little more established, and let him carry them. And that defense, I like the defense, but I just think playing against Matt Ryan, I just think it's too big of an ask for the Browns this week. I think they'll play well, but I think the Falcons will find a way to win.
Well, we look at a close game, probably between the Redskins and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're at home. There's a 3-point favorite. You want to probably get with the home team on this. The Redskins lineup is completely decimated, and at the same time, you look at Tampa Bay putting it back in Fitzmagic after paying their allegiance to Winston, if you will, and that Fitzpatrick is leading the squad. He could do some damage. He's at home. And he's playing the Washington Redskins. So I think that I like Tampa Bay in this game.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the Redskins, they are decimated. Their offensive line took some hits last week, and, that could impact the way Adrian Peterson is able to run the ball. AP's been terrific, in the first 6-7 weeks. We'll see how he does now with a couple of those key pieces missing up front. We'll see how he does. Now we are in the midpoint of the season, how his body holds up, to the wear and tear that it's absorbed the first half. He's a little on the older side as a running back. I think he's 33 years old, so we'll see. But, I like Fitzmagic. I just like the nickname, I guess. I mean, I love that nickname, Fitzmagic. So he is a big quarterback. He, playing at home, the Bucs coaches are trying to save their job. Redskins seem to be kind of going the other way. I think the Bucs will find a way to get this job done. I think it's going to be another close game, but I think Fitzmagic in the end is going to pull that one out.
Joining us now is Mo from the BS Sports Show. Ed, I know you said that 10:30 was about your stopping point. Do you have to go, or do you want to stick around, or?
Yeah, I should probably jump off here, Tom. Got some things I got to get done. So, thanks again. Enjoy the games.
And we'll talk with you soon, buddy. Have yourself a good weekend.
You got it. You too. Thanks.
Ed Kratz, official beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles and our official balance contributor. You can find Ed's work at the Sport Exchange, www.footballmaven.io/Eagles. Mo from the BS Sports Show joins us, sir. Got any snow in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, we got about an inch of snow yesterday.
We have no snow here. They say it's coming, but it's just going to be a dusting. But it's enough to let us know that winter is on the way. That's not only the scene from the show. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Yeah. There we go. We'll get it straight. I've asked everybody that's came on today, so we'll just keep the trend going. Aren't we glad, no matter what side of fence you land on, that Tuesday has come and gone, and we could stop with these commercials? I was so over hearing about Donnelly and Braun here. I know you're in Indiana as well. Donnelly and Braun in Indiana. It just got to be sickening, brother. Glad it's over.
Yeah, it got old real quick, like.
So we were just kind of going through some of the games, and I know we typically talk with you about the games. So what we'll kind of do on these NFL games, we'll just kind of go through and just kind of basically talk with what Vegas talking about. And so we stopped at the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. Rarely can a favorite team suddenly lose a starting quarterback just days before the games. Well, that's exactly what happened with the Jets. You look at the Jets and you look at the Bills. They both suck. I guess that's the best way to put it. But the Jets were favored 7.5. But I think that line has moved a little bit to 3 now with the loss of Sam Darnold. What are your thoughts on the Jets and the Bills? Are you still there? Mo? Maybe Mo. Mo, can you hear us? Well, we lost Mo. Man, we've been having all kinds of phone issues today. We're going to effort to get him back here in just a moment. So we were talking about, let me see if we can't get him back. We do have him back now. All right, Mo, are you back with us?
Yeah, it must have been you talking about political commercials. My phone just gave up and tapped out, I guess.
Can't take it anymore. Cannot take it anymore. Well, I was just talking a little bit about the Bills and the Jets. The Jets were favored by 7.5. Sam Darnold now is out. That moved the line back to about a 3-point advantage. You got to go with the home team. Both the Bills and the Jets suck, but who sucks worse tomorrow? I think it's going to be the Bills. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, the Bills' offense for sure. Peterman's terrible. I mean, how bad does this staff and the front office look by getting rid of A.J. McCarron and keeping Nathan Peterman and thinking he was the guy? I mean, it was terrible last year when they put him in over Tyrod Taylor and when they were on their way to the playoffs. And it's unbelievable how terrible that this Bills team is after being in the playoffs last year. You know, a guy maybe they should look at trading for that might work in their system would be Tyrod Taylor. He's a guy that seemed to play pretty well there, and I bet Bills fans would give anything to have Tyrod Taylor back right now.
So let's talk a little bit about the Indianapolis Colts. We talked with Ed a little bit about that as far as the game perspective. But at the same time, this is a game that has a very tight spread. It's like 3, I think. And I believe that we are at home. Let me think about that, but I think we're at home. But anyway, Jacksonville and Indianapolis, both 3-5. Yes, we're at home. So here's a great scenario for you. First of all, talk with us a little bit about the line on this. I think you would want to go ahead and put your money on the Indianapolis Colts or steer clear of this. But think about this. No, I don't think any self-respecting Colts fan is going to tell you publicly they are rooting for the New England Patriots this weekend. But here's a scenario for you. The New England Patriots plays the Tennessee Titans at Tennessee. New England Patriots should win. They're a favorite to win. That's a loss to the Titans. The Colts get a win. That puts them at 4-5. And so I think this is a crucial matchup in the AFC South time. You got Tennessee versus New England. You've got us versus Jacksonville. A win with the Indianapolis Colts and a loss to the Tennessee Titans really sets up the Indianapolis Colts to start checking boxes. It's not unrealistic to think that they could get a wild card spot if they just come to work, do what they're supposed to do, build on the momentum, and continue to get better and focus on each game, one game at a time, and check off the boxes. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think the Colts' defense is good enough. I don't think they have enough weapons on offense. Andrew Luck has played great considering all the things that he's had to overcome and just the lack of people on of weapons to throw to. But the defense to me, when it gets in the games with teams that have even a good offense, the Colts tend to fall apart, and that's what's holding them back at this point. I think even if they beat Jacksonville at this point, I don't think they're going to catch Houston. I don't think the Colts at this point are better than Houston, and because Houston is good on both sides of the ball, which the Colts are not right now. And I mean, as a Colts fan, I don't think that I would want. I would rather finish below 500. Have a better draft pick than finish 8-8, and I don't think that, and I think that may be a realistic goal for this team is an 8-8 team, but the schedule doesn't get easier for the Colts, that's for sure. So I think the Colts can win this football game this weekend, but realistically, and getting into the playoffs, I don't see it for this football team right now.
Well, and you're probably right, but we got to dream. How big of a factor? We'll get back online here just as far as knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. We'll get into some of these college games. But how big of a factor are we going to get haunted by a ghost from the past when Frank Reich basically could have had a tie with the Texans and ended up with a loss? Divisionally speaking, looking at what we're looking at now, are we going to get haunted from that ghost? A lot of people are still talking about it. I think that Frank Reich did the right thing. I'm not a big fan of ties. I don't think a lot of people are. But how big of a factor was that decision going to haunt us now?
0, because I don't think the Colts get even close to catching the Texans. I think that's going to be the problem for the Colts. So I like Frank Reich's decision. I don't think you play for a tie. I think you play for a win, and I don't think it affects the Colts going forward because I don't think they catch Houston and even get close to catching them in this division.
Let's go into some college football games. Certainly, Florida State is at Florida State is at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is number 3. Clemson is number 2. Michigan is number 4. In theory, the Florida State Seminoles in theory, let me backtrack. In theory, Notre Dame can beat the Florida State Seminoles. Okay, so Michigan can't afford a loss. Georgia can't afford a loss. Notre Dame can't afford a loss. So let's talk about these games today. As far as money-wise and point spreads-wise, I don't have the point spread up, so we'll just kind of have to go with your gut feeling on this. Obviously, Notre Dame's going to be the favorite at home against the Florida State. But let's kind of break down that 3-4 slippery slope, if you will, with college football, because that's really where the committee's looking at. And let's face it, we know for a fact that the committee wants another SEC team in the playoff. That's just how they roll. So let's talk about Florida State at Notre Dame. What are your thoughts on that game?
If you look at this matchup before the season started, it seemed like a great matchup. But now, it's not going to be a very fun game to watch. I don't believe. Florida State's terrible. The interesting thing will be with Ian Book out for Notre Dame and Brandon Wimbush starting, the former starter. How hard will he push it to try to prove something today? And I think that's where Notre Dame could get in trouble if there's trouble to be had, because Wimbush does tend to turn the ball over. He is a better runner. He's a better athlete than Ian Book, but not a better passer. So that's where Notre Dame could get into trouble if Brandon Wimbush comes out, the adrenaline's pumping a lot, and he wants to show something to Coach Brian Kelly and tends to get Notre Dame in trouble. So that would be the only way I would see Notre Dame losing this football game, would be that way. It's a double-digit point spread, but with a backup quarterback, I would still stay away from it. I mean, it could be another Dame roll, like Florida State's gotten rolled the last couple of weeks, but just with the backup quarterback with Brandon Wimbush in there, I don't put my money on this game.
So Notre Dame's at number 3, Michigan's at number 4, Georgia's at number 5. Georgia would love to move up to the number 4 slot. You would think that Michigan can win and Georgia both can win. So I think it's going to come down to the amount of points. I think Michigan has a better chance of getting more points against Rutgers than Georgia does against Auburn. So who gets does it stay the same? If both teams win, Georgia and Michigan win, the committee is going to want to put Georgia up to that number 4 slot. How big of a win does Michigan have to hang on to that 4 slot?
They need to beat Rutgers, but at this point, I think that the committee is okay with it, because right now, the committee knows that Michigan and Ohio State play, and Ohio State's far enough back that if they beat Michigan, they're not going to leapfrog Georgia. So Georgia's safe right now in that 5 spot. I believe that because we're going to see Georgia and Alabama face off in the SEC championship. So I think everything's set right now the way it can be. They obviously can't beat Rutgers by 7 points and be okay. Georgia rolls Auburn, but I think that everything will stay the same as long as both teams handle their business today and do it like they should. Just because you get that big matchup with Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship, and you're going to have Ohio State and Michigan play coming up Thanksgiving weekend.
So here's the thing: if we want to play devil's advocate here and think for a moment that Boston College can beat Clemson number 2, Boston College number 17. Last year, we remember that Boston College rolled all over Notre Dame. So Boston College certainly has weapons. I mean, They're ranked in the top 25. They're doing something right. One logically would think that they can't beat Clemson, but